Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now April 4th of 2023, and ever since, of course, the very ending of past Star Wars shows out there, like The Mandalorian Season 2, Book of Boba Fett, the Kenobi series, we've seen a lot of ups and downs between the fandoms on how they view specific projects from Disney Star Wars. And the latest when it comes to, of course, Season 3, we've seen mixed reactions based on, of course, where they're going with all these different chapters in play. Chapter 22, by the way, is all set and ready to debut by tomorrow, giving us one of the last 3 episodes of Mando Season 3. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, where we stand today is that basically Disney executives are really going back and forth on a lot of different strategies and ways to execute the overall plan to enhance the Star Wars franchise and exactly where that's going to go. And when it all dwindles down to the whole Gina Carano situation, alright, it's been well over 2 years since she was fired by Kathleen Kennedy in the worst way possible, and ever since then we've seen the fans divided. Everybody has different opinions on Gina Carano, and look, that's perfectly fine and okay and all. You can love her or hate her if you want. You're not going to change people's minds on that. But where we actually are today is exactly what's happening between Disney executives and the latest decision about Gina Carano and what's actually about to arrive on Disney Plus in just a little over, of course, 2 years, or just a little below 2 years, I should say. Now, with that being all put out there and said, given that John and Dave have been fighting for Gina Carano for the past year and a half, to really get her re-established back into the Star Wars franchise properly, with many Disney executives getting, of course, ready to make key decisions for the future of the franchise and more, Disney CEO Bob Iger recently made a very important decision for the franchise that is now moving ahead. After a rough back and forth between executives over Gina Carano's scenes getting reinstated for the special edition of Mando Season 2 that's due for release in 2024, Bob Iger and 4 other executives made an agreement with other executives on how to execute this entire plan and how it is now moving forward. The plan right now is to release the special edition of Mando Season 2 by the middle point of 2024, most likely around the summer. Now, the deleted scenes that Gina Carano filmed back years ago involved key sequences of herself communicating with no other than Luke Skywalker, and even Din Djarin without his helmet on, having a conversation about who Luke Skywalker really is. These 2 big scenes also involve Cara Dune in one of the scenes holding Grogu in front of Luke before. Some of these scenes are going to become canon once they become part of the special edition of Mando Season 2. Other scenes of Gina will be separated into a different category to differentiate what's canon and what's not. Now let me stop right here before I get to the next big segment, is that we know that Disney executives were fighting to not make this happen, some of which are very loyal to Kathleen Kennedy, mind you. They did not want any of Gina's scenes getting reinstated into, of course, Mando Season 2's special edition. And this almost happened a couple of days ago, where they all almost agreed on really just not including those scenes at all whatsoever for 2024, and they were going to leave it at that. But now, they took a turn for the better, where Gina's scenes are going to get reinstated. We're finally going to be able to see these deleted pieces of footage of Gina communicating with Luke, communicating with Din Djarin about Luke Skywalker, who he really is, how he defeated the Emperor and Vader, stuff like that. Very interesting stuff. And this is something that I think deserved to stay in Mando Season 2's finale. Let's not forget that it was Kathleen Kennedy's call to cut out a lot of footage of the Season 2 finale back when she had more creative power and more privileges over at Lucasfilm, when Disney executives were a little bit more lenient on her. Now they're more, of course, very much in a suppressive mode, where they do not want her saying certain things, they do not want her doing certain things over at Lucasfilm, and that is just the beginning of the end for her, basically. So, moving on to the next thing here, it even gets more complex about all of this, is that we already know that the special edition of Mando Season 2 is going to include some special tracks by John Williams that went unused for, of course, past projects in the past. That's going to become a part of the Mando Season 2 special edition, so to speak. Now, on to the next thing here is that the scene of Cara Dune speaking with Luke and also about Luke to Din Djarin are set to become canon by next year. And Disney executives feel that this is the perfect segue or transition to bring Gina Carano back first through reinstating her deleted footage. These scenes almost got cancelled from becoming part of the special edition after a recent shakeup between Disney executives. Even Kathleen Kennedy, at no surprise, tried to prevent Gina's scenes from getting authorized to become part of the new edition of Mando Season 2, which also involved new scenes of Luke entirely. Now, Gina has already been contacted about this plan to revive her footage, and she couldn't be happier. Disney is planning to announce the special footage by the very beginning of 2024 for the entire Star Wars fandom. Now, the other side of this is that we also know that Kathleen Kennedy and many of the executives that are loyal to her want nothing to do with Gina's footage getting reinstated. This wasn't their decision, the majority was their decision, and that, of course, are the executives that are more on the side of John, Dave, and George's style of Star Wars. And you know what? It's about time that they make a certain right decision, because this is something that I think is very much deserved for Gina Carano, something that she needed, and something that the fans need. I think that this is also going to strengthen some of Luke Skywalker's scenes in Mando Season 2. Really having a moment where Cara Dune is talking to Din Djarin about who Luke is as he's leaving, how he defeated both Emperor and Vader, stuff like that, and even talking to Luke, delivering a couple lines of dialogue to him about his sister Leia and stuff like that. That's very interesting stuff, and mind you, like I said before, this was all deleted because of Kathleen Kennedy calling the shots back in the day. Now, given that John and Dave are also the ones that took a big part in fighting for her footage to return, it really was all down to the Disney executives as of late. I mean, they really fought for this to happen because they want to make Mando Season 2 Special Edition very special. The reason being is that they realize that Mando Season 2 is so very special as far as Disney Plus shows go, alright? When you look at Season 1 through Season 3 of Mando, I think it's pretty safe to say that most people enjoyed the second one the most. Not just because of Luke, not just because of Ahsoka and Boba Fett appearances, but just the writing style, the way it was perfectly crafted and very well paced, and it had this real cool style to it, because let's face it, we knew that George Lucas really guided John and Dave every bit of the way on how to do things. And given that with Mando Season 3, Jon Favreau had a real time constraint on that season, and he had a deadline to actually meet, and how he wanted to spend an extra 6 months of filming on Mando Season 3. Is that to blame why some people are saying that the story of Mando Season 3 is a little on and off? I'm not sure. You know, that's really up in the air right now. But there is a difference between Season 2 and 3 in terms of quality, there's no doubt about that. But anyways, guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you guys have to say about all of this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.